Holy crap, I'm back. Well, here I sit brokenhearted. Thought I had a show, but it barely started. Yeah, baby. Let me just repost to Facebook that I'm a bonehead and that I had TDs, man. I had the TDs, dude. I totally had the TDs. Well, anyway, I'm sure we'll be back here at some point. At some point. I'm back. Yep, that's how it works here. Nice and slow. Usually this all happens before anybody gets here. I gotta do the post. I gotta do that. Run studio. City. Joshua Tree. California. Save. And feeling confused. And post. There we go. Now I can go back. I can go back. Alright, well, that was a fiasco, wasn't it? Am I back? Is there anybody here? Anybody? Hey, sup, dude? You made it. What's up? I got other... Wow. I'm not alone. Thank you for rejoining me. It took me a few seconds, but here I is. A few seconds, right? If only. That happens. For some reason, the signal strength says late. And I'm hot-wired. I'm hardwired into my modem, so it has to do with something there in the modem, something with, but my signal just says later. It goes to 0. Sometimes it'll fluctuate and it'll just kind of get glitchy and freeze up and then come back. But cheers, brother. Thank you for coming back. Having that AC on in the morning, it makes my coffee go cold. I really need to bring that warmer from here over to here. You know, I really need to do it. I'm going to go heat up my coffee, talk amongst yourselves, and let me know what the plan is. Today we're going to read some more from the TV Guide, and we're going to talk about The White Shadow, one of my favorite TV shows. So we're changing the sheets last night, right? On our bed. We gotta change the chits on Tuesday, man. The chits get changed on Tuesday. No, so last night we're changing the chits. And some TV show where some lady was talking about changing the chits. So anyway, we have a little dog. He's half Chihuahua and half something else, right? He's just a mutt, but he drools when he sleeps. He's the drool king, right? It wasn't like this before. He just recently, in the last year or so, started drooling. So we're changing the sheets, man. And when he drools, he leaves a big slobber spot when he's sleeping. Chihuahuas get funny mouths when they get older, I guess. But man, I'm looking at this, the bed cover, the mattress cover, the pad thing, and I'm like, wow. We got to do something about this guy. We got to get him a sponge that hooks to his chin or something. Like on Saturday Night Live back in the 70s, they did that one commercial for the drool cup, and it was this thing that hooked over your ears and came down, and it hung down here, and of course during the commercial they were just slobbering and drooling to fill this cup up. And it was, for those of you who have problem drooling, it was bad, but funny. Was it Saturday Night Live or Monty Python? It seems like it would be Monty Python, but I don't know. I don't know. They were both pretty crazy at about the same time. Right? Oh yeah, coffee. Coffee, 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 coffee. Coffee, coffee, coffee! Woohoo! So, what do we got here? Oh, we already got a bong hit loaded. See, there you go. I'll do that. I'll plan to smoke about 12 bong hits in 2 hours and do about 3 or 4. Yeah. Some mornings, man, I come in here and I sit here and it's like, yay, I don't hurt as much. And I'll do like a bong hit or two. And I'll just be blah, 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 and I'll just, you know, be feeling really good. Oh, this last week, it ain't been really good. The whole last week has just been miserable in my neck department. Mainly because, as my daughter reminded me, I moved that treadmill that she bought, and it's heavy, and I'm dreading having to move it again. But we've got to move it in the yard to a spot where we can hook it up and then cover it, and then she can go out there and use it. More than likely, it will be in the evenings because that's when she's active, and it's cool out in the evenings. Well, I mean, at 9 o'clock it's still 100 degrees, but she's up at, you know, midnight, 3, 4 in the morning. So if she can have it set up so she can go out there in the middle of the night, and it's real easy to pull down and set up, and you know, she could be out there at midnight, 2 in the morning on that thing jogging. It's not real loud, you know, and the yard's lit up and fenced in and safe, and she can, you know, she can even have a TV out there if she wants to. There's all kinds of stuff she can do out there. So we're trying to get to the point to where we can get that situated. I don't want to move it, so I'm like, okay, let's figure it out so that you guys can do the moving and just kind of walk it over into its spot, because I tried to walk it and move it and pull it, and it just chewed up everything in here. I'm working with, you know, no discs in between vertebrae in a couple of places, so it's hell. Yeah, watch some past episodes and you'll know why. Man, I can't believe I've been doing this for as long as I've been doing this, 1.5 years now. This YouTube stuff. And over 1.5 years. I've been doing this live. And there's a lot of live on my channel. There's a lot of me just going blah, blah, blah. But there's no other person in the world that you can get to know as quick and as easy as watching me on my shows. Yeah, well, come on over. You know, if you can be over here later after work, we'll move it. We'll have a couple of beers and you can get home. All right? Yeah, I know you move heavy shit all the time. Totally, man. You're like my hero. You're a tough guy. You and Natalie are my heroes. You know, Mr. Work Guy and Miss Schoolgirl. You guys are my heroes. Totally, man. Going in. Yeah. Yeah. So, as I was saying, the TV show for the week that you all need to think about checking out is The White Shadow. There I have the 2 seasons available on DVD. They don't make the 3rd season available because there's not a lot there. I think there's 12 or 13 episodes in season 3, the final season. The first season, it's a summer replacement, so there's only 15 episodes, or it comes in halfway through the season. Season 2 is 24 episodes. They kick it up. They increase their budget. They give them more episodes. They got better writing. In the 3rd season, the show kind of takes a spiral because almost everybody graduates, right? They don't keep it like The Simpsons. They don't keep it like sitcoms where Vinnie Barbarino never leaves the show until he leaves the show, right? But nobody graduates, right? Everybody stays the same age. And not so on The White Shadow. People graduate. And lives change. People move on. Working overtime for the Chicago trip. All right, man. I'm gonna miss you here in August. I'm glad you're gonna stay a little extra in September. So that's cool. Really. So what I will do is I will find here The White Shadow. TV show. I just hit X, dummy. The White Shadow. Episodes. 14. Episodes. Okay, so somebody does this and they do it in blocks. Episodes 1 through 4, and then they've got episodes, 5 through. They have it set up 5 through 8 so that you can watch 4 episodes at a time in a block. So that's what I was doing when I got to the final season. White Shadow, view a playlist, the entire 88 videos. Okay. White Shadow, episodes 1 through 4, 5 through 9, 10 through 15. And it's got everything labeled here. So I'm going to share this White Shadow playlist because this guy here pretty much seems to have everything together here. So I'm going to then go to this guy because I've seen this guy's stuff before. Logarithm. I'm going to subscribe to Logarithm here on YouTube, because I can. And here is the link to the playlist. White Shadow the White Shadow. TV series. Full playlist. There we go. And that's it. Check that out. It's good stuff. Good. Good. Might even come back in October. Ooh. What's going on in October? What do we got going on? That's awesome. You're just going to have to move over here. Every time you're here, you're going to have to start looking for a job, man. I was thinking there's little mobile homes like ours in this park here. We really bought ours for a song. We got it really cheap. Of course, you've been here, you lived here, you know why. The place is falling apart. But they have other little places here for sale for really, really cheap, right? Like literally a couple $1,000s, and it's yours. You put a couple $1,000s into it, you fix it up. The rent is like minimal compared to having a huge place of your own, right? It's minimal compared to being a roommate. Most roommates have to pay upwards of $1,000 just to be a roommate, and you're going to be less than that just paying your rent in a mobile home park out here. So that's always an option to think about that. I wish we had a huge fucking house, because I'd have you live in there. I'd have you know, one or two of Natalie's friends live. I got some friends out here who desperately need a house. If you wanted to actually get a real house, I could actually hook you up with a roommate or two. There's a friend of mine out here, Milo, who's right now he just started summer classes out here at college. He had dropped out a few years back, doing the music thing. He's a hip hop singer, really cool, and he took off from school for a while, and he started going back this last year, working and going to school and, you know, trying to exist as a solo act in this world. And it's rough, man. It's fucking rough, but he's doing it. He's going to summer classes too. That's rough. Summer classes are really hard because they're all day. You know, they're like almost every class is like a half a day, all week long for like 6 weeks. It's hard. Summer school out here is really hard because it's hot, and if you have 2 classes in the summer, which is a full schedule, you're there all day. You're there 8 hours at minimum. 8 hours. The kids on White Shadow. There's one of the kids on the White Shadow. He actually became a director because of this show, because of the producer, the director, the writer, the creator of this show. He demanded so much out of the actors on this show that he turned no less than 4 of them into directors. I shit you not. It was not only a character builder for the characters on the show. You didn't just see them evolve into really good, strong male figures, but regardless of the race, because it was a multiracial show, you also could see how it affected America, right? Inner city kids getting into basketball, getting into something to get them out of everything else they could get into. It was such a powerful show. They had the Harlem Globetrotters on there for a couple of episodes, and they were really pretty heavy hitting episodes. I remember when I was in the 4th grade, 1977 or 78, but that school year, the Harlem Globetrotters came to Fallbrook, California, and set up in the old high school basketball arena and filled the place up and did their act. And I was a little blonde, ratty-haired kid, all dirty and grubby, just loving it. Just fucking loving it, right? It's like, there's those guys. There's those guys, you know, because at that time in the 70s, they were so big, and they were so big with kids, they had their own, didn't they have their own variety show? I know they had their own animated series. They were everywhere. And they were great role models. Everybody wanted to be a Harlem Globetrotter. I didn't even play basketball. I didn't even like basketball. And I loved to watch those guys because they were fun. They were like the underdogs. But they just were way better than the what was the name of that white team that toured with them, right? All those white guys. Those guys actually beat them, the Harlem Globetrotters, a few times during that run where they always took those guys with them, and every once in a while they'd let them win, but not always. I've got maybe I'll try to throw it in one of the video time machines, but I've got this thing with Meadowlark Lemon, who was the guy on the Harlem Globetrotters. He was like the captain, right? I think he was the captain. But Meadowlark, who I think he just passed away recently, in the last few years, he had his own show. Just writing a note there in my video time machine thing there to check it out. So The White Shadow, now you've got all of the episodes of The White Shadow. Watch it, please watch it. Yesterday, if you go to yesterday's show, you'll see links to the movie of the week, the main event with Ryan O'Neal and Barbara Streisand. One of my favorite friggin' movies. There's no singing in it. She may do a little, pillow talk song or something. I can't remember. Like at the end of What's Up, Doc? They sing a song together, just barely. But in this one, it's not a song movie. There is a title song, a main song, the main event, which was pretty big on the radio. I love that song. She's got such a beautiful voice. I love me some Barbara Streisand. I mean, it used to be that if you liked Barbara Streisand, I think he's weird. He likes Barbara Streisand and musicals and that kind of. Well, so what? When I was young, I had to hide the fact that I liked so many things just because my friends would ridicule me. Make fun of me for stuff. You like stuff my parents like. You're weird. Oh, you're gay because you like that. You're gay. I used to hear that so much. You're gay. It's like, for a long time, I figured I was gay. I just assumed I was gay. How do you be gay? Could somebody show me how to be gay? Apparently, I'm gay. I wasn't, because I was not a happy person. So I could never understand why people were calling me gay when I was a kid. Why is he calling me gay? I'm not happy. Jeez, do I look happy? I'm not a happy guy. So you mean, oh, okay. Gay. Now I get it. I still don't get it. Yeah. We used to do that a lot. We used to get that a lot when we were young. We used to get just ridiculed, just run through the fucking ringer by your so-called friends because of something that you like. You like that show? Oh my, really? That is so stupid. You're so gay. Oh man. Totally. Yeah. Okay. I mean, a lot of the shows, I mean, I didn't get to watch a lot of TV anyway, so I don't remember a lot of the shows people would have considered me to be weird watching. But I was a weird kid. I was a weird one. I was a weird one. I've always been weird. Just to be normal, like be myself, which is totally abnormal to the rest of the world, but just to be me, that makes me weird. So, to the whole world who's ever considered me weird just because I was strong enough to just be myself all the time and continue being weird and not change and not conform, to me, I guess that is weird. A guy who does not conform to anybody, anything, and I grew up just not giving a fuck and not conforming. So I guess in that respect, I'm a weird guy. I hope that's as weird as my daughter is. That's it. That's enough weirdness to just rise above everybody else's bullshit and what everybody else is trying to do, and be able to pull back and see what's going on, and know that you don't want to be a party to any of it. Most people are always like right in the thick of shit, so they're always right, just getting themselves into something. And I'm just thankful that she's smart enough to be the person that's in the back going, maybe I'll head out the back door here and let these fuckers do their thing. In all, facets of life, that's a good thing, to be able to not to be better than everybody, but to be smart enough to see what's going on, rather than to be seen as a part of something that you're just not, right? If something's going on here, I want her to be the person that's back here going, yeah, I don't know. I don't know. I don't think so. I'm not going to get into that, right? Of course, she won't have a beard. She won't be doing that. Totally. All right, I think this is number 3. I'm going in. But who's keeping track? 5:45. So that's what, one every 15 minutes? That's not bad. I could be smoking in an hour 3 or 4 cigarettes in an hour. That's a lot. That's a lot of smoke. Of course, pot is worse than cigarettes with the smoke department. So, I guess it's, probably balanced, right? Cancer, emphysema, whatever. It's all gonna get you. It's all gonna get you. Take me now. Take me now. I look around me and I see what's going on in the world, and I'm just like, fuck it, take me now. Just fucking give me a break. It just hasn't changed. I would expect that, knowing what we knew back then, we should have been, hey, peace work. Things should be better by now. They really should. We saw enough of this. We were in the 80s, we were reflecting back to the 60s going, wow, man, we can't go there again. We need to make a fucking change. And what happened? It's like we forgot, we moved on. It's criminal, really, to just not use history as an example to save us from a horrible future, right? We've already fucked up enough to know how not to fuck up, and yet we keep fucking up. We keep fucking up. We keep fucking up the planet. We keep fucking up socially. We keep fucking up with the products that are given us. Everything is just humping the bunk every step of the way. Every step of the way, we're going about it exactly the way we know we shouldn't. using the past as an example. The last 100 years of the Industrial Revolution on this planet, all right, from 1900 to 2000, all right, that right there should be set as an example on what to do and what not to do. And this last 25 years has proven that humans just don't give a fuck. They don't give a fuck about the planet. They don't give a fuck about themselves. They don't give a fuck about each other. Right? The planet, humans are going to get exactly what they deserve. They're going to get a horrible, horrible demise. People starving together and killing each other just to eat each other. And it's going to get bad. Take a look at what's going on. Take a look at the direction. You know, get some numbers, look at the graph, see what's going on. It's going to happen. You know, the planet's going to go on. Whatever animals are left are going to go on, right? They're going to thrive with us taken out of the picture. As soon as we're removed from the picture enough, dwindled down in population, what's going to happen real quick? Within a few years, a decade, the population is going to crash by billions. And the planet is going to be a whole different place. It's going to be cleaner and cleaner and cleaner and quieter and less polluted. And nature's going to come back. The animals are going to come back. The animals that are left. It'll be a nice, pretty picture without the human race. Because right now, you look at the planet, and there's this scene in Star Trek First Contact, the movie, and it's like Star Trek 10 or something, right? Star Trek 9 or 10 in the original Gene Roddenberry created series. And they're zipping through this hole in time, chasing this Borg sphere. And as they get closer to Earth, and Borg gets to Earth through the time thing, they go through a place in time where they see the future of planet Earth after the Borg have been there for a long time. And the entire surface of the planet is mechanical in nature. It's electron. It looks like circuit boards pretty much across the surface of the planet. The ocean is, I think it's just a sea of algae or something, but it's horrible, and the atmosphere is like really dark and skanky because it's just filled with pollution. And I just wonder what it must be like for people of the past to get what would it be like for them to get a glimpse of the planet now. They see their city, and then they see their city in 100 years and go, oh my God. They see the planet from above and go, wow, that's beautiful. And then 200 years later they see it and they're going, oh my God, that's horrible. What happened? That's what I feel like. When I drive from here to the city through places that used to be just beautiful countryside, that's the way I feel. I feel like, oh my gosh, we've been overrun by humans. This human virus upon the planet is just, it's sickening. I'm not saying that people need to be killed off, but people need to refrain from having any more kids. If we did it for 5 years, nobody has kids for 5 years. Imagine, take 1 minute and imagine what the planet would look like if we stopped creating life for 5 years, just 5 years, and let those who are to die, but do not replace them. The population is going to come so far down within 5 years. Why? Because we don't have cures for anything. We have treatments. So a lot of people are going to die. A lot of people are going to die natural deaths. A lot of people are going to die accidents. Think about that. 5 years of no procreation. So you have to think about, do the numbers. Find the numbers on Google. How many humans on the planet die every year? Right? How many people are born every year and how many people die every year? Okay? So put that into the equation, right? So that when we come back from 5 years, the population is way down. Now, add to that some kind of certification that proves that you can be healthy enough to have the child within you, so that you have less of a chance of birth defects. And then add into that a certification that says that you've taken courses on early childhood development and parenting and yada yada yada. All right, you fit into the right box to be allowed a certificate of childbirth, right? And then each family, each couple, is only allowed to have just two children. That's not a horrible thing. Any more than that just seems so greedy. My wife and I never planned to have any more than 2 children, and we wound up with 1 because our first one didn't make it, and we were too scared to try a 3rd time. So that's what we get. If we could adopt, we would adopt. We'd probably adopt Joey, but we'd adopt. And I think that's the thing. I think that if you want more than 2 children, then I think that's where the adoption comes in. So that at some point in the future, we wind up with a perfect 1-for-1 ratio, right? And we keep our population pretty much steady, right? We're turning out smarter kids. We're turning out healthier kids. We're bringing in, now you got a family of 2 kids, and then you adopt 3, so you can have your big family. You know, you can bring in kids whose parents both passed away, and now you need to bring that family and keep the kids together. You know, however it works, it would just be beneficial to everyone, right? And of course, certification, so you make sure you're not turning out more cuckoo fucking people, right? You got to be psychologically evaluated to even think about fucking having kids. And then you got to go through the courses for child rearing and early childhood development and later childhood development and all this stuff, and how to deal with teenagers. Got to be a whole 6 months just on teenagers, right? But think about it. Every parent is like a psychologist, right? Every parent has a community of parents to get together with and make it so that we're just putting out really good, really smart, kids who aren't fucking up, who are giving to the human race, not floundering it away. Because that's what we got. We got so many people out there that they're born into this world, and their thing is, fuck you, I didn't ask to be here, I can do whatever the fuck I want, I ain't gonna answer to you. And there's so much of that going on right now. And it's true. Why you bring people into the world when you're not ready for it, right? So many people born into this world are accidents, or oopses, or, hey, we ain't got nothing better to do, so let's pump out 18 kids. Yeah, she's every 10 months she's pregnant because we can't stop doing it when she's not pregnant, or at least when she's close. So I never could understand that, why people just can't keep it in their pants, keep the legs closed, keep the distance, whatever. I mean, what's the big deal? It's only sex. You got an issue with you, well, go fucking take your issue and deal with it and then come back to the rest. Don't fucking push your issue on everybody else. So many people out of high school when I was young, so many people were getting hooked up with somebody on almost a permanent or semi-permanent level, or getting married or engaged and stuff, just because literally the girls wanted one thing and the guys wanted another. And usually it's the girls wanted a family and the guys wanted a steady piece of ass. And so they would hook up with the first steady piece of ass they could find, and they was married. And then 5 kids 3 years later, you know, all of a sudden, they fucking hate each other. Oh, come on, man. And then how many of those kids were whoopses? You look at what's going on in the world, and it has to do with overpopulation. And they want overpopulation because it's just more consumers, more slaves, more people to control, more voter base, whatever. There's a reason why they don't put a cap on people, right? Family planning my ass. Why do you think they keep cutting the fucking budgets on that shit? Keep pumping out kids, man. You know, and if the parents can't take care of them, then the system will. You know, and the system loves to just chew up children. You know, and now there's the whole growing of, you know, human trafficking, child trafficking. It's a real thing, you know. It's a real thing. And it's a scary thing. You know, remember back when you would travel? Well, a lot of you don't, but when I was young, you would travel, and when you stayed at a hotel or a motel, a motor lodge, that's what motel means. You would stay there, and you would have to provide information for everyone staying there, and they would keep a record of it, right? And if somebody went missing, right, if somebody was kidnapped, or if they were looking for somebody, it was real easy for them to follow a trail, a paper trail, basically, a trail of information on where that person or persons have been. And having the records of license plate numbers and names and that kind of stuff, wasn't always true, but there was usually a license plate, right? And there's not that anymore. You can now do an Airbnb, and only one person in a vacation rental has to be responsible. Only one person in a motel or hotel has to be responsible for information. And they don't always have to give all of the information. So if you're using a fake ID and some kind of worked up financial account, you can travel around the country now and hang a hat on a Ring camera as you walk in the door, so that the next 8 people coming behind you are not on the camera, right? Who are those 8 people? Are they just 8 vacationers who assume that if they're there, they're going to get an extra fee, charge, or something, which usually isn't the case? Or is it because they don't want there to be a record of how many people were staying there? Of course, the cleaners are going to know, wow, man, every bed was used and the couch twice. But there's no record of that either. So how do you know? How do you know who's been where and who's been bringing who where? And for me, for my money, if I were going to traffic humans, children, people around the country and take them to like an out-of-the-way airport somewhere where we could get them on a plane out of the country, right? And nowadays, you don't even have to get them out of the country to traffic. You can traffic children right in this country and sell them right here in this country to people in this country. So international stuff is completely taken out. Why do you think they don't worry so much about missing children in this country? Because there are people in this country who know where they're at and know why they're missing and know where they've gone. You know, why do you think the country allowed families to be separated at the border? So they could go through the children and see if there were any children there that they wanted. And I'm sure there are some families who were in a detention center years ago and still haven't seen their children. You know, Child Protective Services can take your child and never give it back if they decide. They have that power. And if you're a foreigner, they have that power indefinitely. That you may get shipped back to your country and deported, and your children stay here, and you just never see them again. And then you try to find them, and there's no record of your children ever having been in this country. And that happens all the time. And people don't understand that there are higher powers at work here doing shit. Nefarious shit, evil shit. And they convince us otherwise. They convince us that they're the good guys. Reps or Dems, this party or that, it don't matter. It don't matter, because it's all eventually beholden to the same thing, the same entity, that the same they is in charge of everything. My father once told me about a drunken rant that his father went on at a party at his house about they. Who are they, and what are they all about, and why are they in charge, and what do they do? You know, and he was just being a drunk guy. My father thought it was like the dumbest thing in the world, because he wasn't really articulate, my grandfather. So he didn't do it well, but he did have a point. Who the fuck are they, and what are they all about, and why are they in charge? Why are they in control? I don't know. Because we allow them to. We give them the power. They don't take it. We give it to them freely. You know, we vote for a handful of people to make the decisions for the rest of us. And that was fine when we were all disconnected and uneducated and trying to build this country into a population of Americans, you know. And it's so easy to get everybody together now, right? Forget about all the division and all our differences and everything. But if we needed to, we could push a button, right? And everybody will get an alert on their phones. Right? Everybody. That's the way the system is worked, so that we can all be contacted at the same time in case of an emergency. It's true. So why would it not be you look at your phone and it's like, read this, urgent, and you read it, and you read through everything, logically thinking about everything that is said, and then it says vote, and you vote yes or no. It takes 5 minutes, 10 minutes out of your day, 15 minutes max. You have now participated in a decision as a united people's government. Boom. Right? Every town has delegations from every neighborhood in that town, in that village. Every city has delegations from every village and every town, you know, and so on and so forth up the chain until we get to the state level, and then the united national level, right? And then that's how decisions are made. Things are proposed by one little village or town, and they go to the city, and they say, yeah, that's pretty cool, and so the town passes it for themselves. The city says, yeah, we're going to adopt that, and we're going to do it in our city. Then the whole city is involved. They say, you know what, let's take it to a county level. This is really working. Let's go county. Let's go countywide. Now let's go statewide and see if the whole state wants to take on this idea of doing things. And then we just take it on to the national level. And that's how things are done, you know. So one good idea doesn't just get lost. one good person doesn't just get lost. We don't have one guy running the country who we don't really know. We know that he's got some good points, but he's got some bad points. We don't really know everything, and this way we're all running the show. We're all running the show. We all decide, it would take some time to get off of where we're at now, divided. I'm not going to do that. That's stupid. Well, fine. It works at the local level, works at the city level, works at the county level, works at the state level. Why wouldn't it work at the federal? Why don't you try it in your state first? Let's try that. Let's each adopt this thing in our own state and see how it works. After a while, if it works, let's join together as a United States and start making decisions like that together. Right? That's what these phones are for, is to unite us and to educate us and to serve as a tool to help us live our lives. But it's used as, look at the stupid video. I'm going to repost it. Laughy face. And we don't get anything done. We're going backwards now. We're regressing. Everything is regressing around us. But we're highly entertained. We are. There's more entertainment out there than ever before. There's something going on every day, every weekend. There's something to be entertained by. And if you don't want to leave your house to be entertained, all you got to do is pick up your phone and you are entertained 24/7. You got videos coming at you of every fucking sort. Not only that, but you can buy anything in the world from that fucking phone and have it delivered right to your door. There's so many distractions now that people don't want to think about reality. They don't want to think about what's going on in the world. What's going on in the world is just a video. It's just a video. That's all it is. It's not reality anymore. It's just a video. The people out living those things, to them, it's just a video that they made, right? It wasn't even real, right? The people that got hurt and arrested, well, to them it's a little more real, but it's just, look at me, I'm on this video. That's not a way of living life. That's not a way of running a country. That's not a way for people to be, period. It's just not. It's not doing anybody any good. Yeah. I'm going to put some water in my plant over here because it looks a little droopy like the one last night. The one here in my living room here was a little droopy. Looks way bitchin' this morning. It had gone wop overnight and was hanging down in front of my camera, and I had to move the whole string of leaves back. So let's see. It's after 6. Wow. It is after 6 in the a.m. We didn't really have a lot on the agenda today, mainly because I've had a lot on my mind, and this is the only place where I can get it out. Otherwise, I'm doing this, and my wife's just like, oh God, shut up already. Or my daughter's like, okay, I'm going to go play a game now, bye. So I try not to bend their ears too much. I come here because I'm not bugging anybody. The only people who are here want to be here. And so therefore I can just blah, 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 get everything out of my head and move on with my day and feel comfortable knowing that I've said what I've had to say. I've had my say, and for so many decades in my life, I felt like I never had my say. I could never just tell the world, look world, this something needs to happen. And that's what I'm saying now. Something needs to happen. What is happening now is wrong. Both sides are wrong. Both sides are humping the bunk, but that's the way they want it. They want us at each other's throats. Put down your flags. You know what? If you're from Mexico and you're here because you want something that's here and not in Mexico. So put down the Mexican flag. If you're upset with America because of what is going on, well, set down the American flag too. Put both flags down. Put down your clubs, take off your masks, sit down with everybody, and just fucking sit down. All right? Sit down and everybody just sit and talk. Everybody just sit and think about it. You know, we wouldn't have gotten to the level we are now, where the invading army is our own government, right? The United States Army was called in, right, for protesting. Posse comitatus, hello, that's not allowed. So right now they're going round and round in federal court about that. But at the same time, we've got at the local level, state and local, why are our state and local police getting involved in this? All right? They should be sitting on the ground with the rest of us, protecting us from those bastards who are coming through our country, treating our citizens, its citizens, like animals, like vermin, right? You need to be exterminated. That's what's going to happen. They're going to start rounding them up, putting them in camps, and then, hey, they never made it down there, and they're still not around here. Where'd they go? I don't know. If you're one of them white guys out there in your big giant four-wheelers with your big Trump flag on the back, who do you think he's coming for next, asshole? Who? You. He's coming for you. He's coming for your guns. All right, those, yeah, look at me, I got an American flag and a big fucking rifle here. He's coming for your guns next. All right? Because, and if not him, the next administration. They're setting it up so they can do whatever the fuck they want. And if you protest, curfew, i.e. martial law. There is a martial law in effect in Los Angeles right now, and it's called a curfew. They allow people to go to work. They allow slaves to go back in. Do you have a job? Are you allowed? You're supposed to be out at night? You have a job? Are you a slave? That's the way it's working right now. Show me your papers, right? Did you ever think that you'd go through this country and have to show someone your fucking papers just because of the color of your skin? I'm a fourth generation Mexican American here, you know. Yeah, but you're a Mexican American. Used to be an American Mexican. Oh, okay. So, you know, so you want to see my papers, right? Here's my papers. Fuck you. And you get arrested and you get deported. So many Americans are getting deported right now because they don't have papers. Because their papers have been stolen by the officials. Yep. Something's bad. Something bad's going on in this country. And it's an infection. It's an infection of hate and racial divide put on us by those that we elect into power. All right? Either administration, it don't matter. Cover your eyes and pick an administration, and they're the reason. It doesn't matter. All right? Both sides. All right? The fact that they can't get along, either side, says something about this country, right? It says something. The fact that we're okay with Washington having only two parties and they can't get along. They can't get anything done, right? If things are always fucked up, then they'll always need us. If things are perfect, they don't need us. If the pharmaceutical companies actually give us the cure to cancer, well, what are they going to do? How are they going to make money off us? They're not. So therefore, they give us treatments. You know, and I'm really sorry to say that for the people who have to go through the treatments. But that's the way it is. Someone out there, one of these, probably Pfizer, one of these companies out there has the cure, and they're just holding it. Because if they cure cancer, that's a lot of money down the tubes, right? All those pills, all those treatments, all those medications. And then if you take these 3 medications, you're going to get side effects that need 6 other medications, right? That's such an industry. That's such a moneymaker. They're never going to stop that. They're never going to put a cork in that. Yeah, we've made enough money. Let's cure everybody. That's never going to happen. Come on, wake up. It's never going to happen until people take charge of their lives and the world around them. And right now, their lives and the world around them are in that phone. And that's where they want you. Because there they have control over you. You know, the movie 1984, boom, they got you. And they use exactly that. Of course, back then it was TVs. But it's the same thing, media. They use the media to control you. They brainwash you from birth, right? I saw this great little short video contrasting between prison and not prison, right? And they show the buses, the prison buses and the school buses. They show the lunchrooms in the prison and in the school. They show the classroom in the school and in the prison. And they show the playground in the prison. And it's all, it looks identical. It's like being in public schools, they're getting you ready to be a slave or a prisoner or whatever, right? But they ain't getting you ready to live a human life. They're trying to fit you into a box because they know that your final box is coming quick, you know, and they need to use you up as much as possible, as quick as possible. There have got to be they on this planet who live so long that they see us as things. They see us as a commodity, right? To be bought and sold. Like they're raising a lot of humans right now so that they have an overabundance of humans on this planet for some purpose, right? Now, what are they going to do? It's like it's like when you're playing a video game and you're building up resources and your other side is building up resources, and then at some point you're going to let those resources loose on each other, right? That's what's happening. It's like they're building us up so that at some point they can unleash some virus on us and dwindle us down and take a look at the results, right? Put us all in a war machine and crank it out, you know, and feed us to some god-awful war, you know, with each other. And then sit back and go, look at that. My count's better than your count. Oh, yeah, well, check this out. And boom. You know, I mean, that's the way it seems. When you sit back and take a look at the big picture of everything, it just looks like we're actual pawns. We're just game pieces, right? We're just fodder for war. We're food for some alien race who's going to come around and collect and say, hey, you got enough food for us now? If not, we're going to fuck with you. Yeah, take people. You know? With so many missing people on this planet, with no real explanation when you look at all the numbers, right? Sure, there's explanations for a few, but when you look at all the numbers of how many people go missing, and even those numbers are going to be fucked with because the powers that be don't want you to know. I'm sure they're constantly updating information so that it fits their picture, right? Just like the Smithsonian only releases artifacts of history that fit their idea of what history, or what they want us to think history is, right? So they have so much of history because they either can't explain it, or they don't want us to know it, or it doesn't fit with the history as it has been written, right? Shit. So think about that, and think about the hundreds of years that this has been going on, and the number of times that it could possibly have happened, the hiding and stashing away of history, right? So where's all this going to go? They don't just take all of these artifacts, like the artifacts that were taken out of the Grand Canyon, out of caves, stuff that was ancient, so ancient that it was pre-Egyptian, right? And they just took it and stashed it away because they couldn't explain it. They either couldn't explain it or they didn't want us to know because they know, they have enough of the picture to know, and the powers that be that actually own the Smithsonian, which don't underestimate humans, right? And don't think for a second that there aren't a few really, really powerful people or families on this planet that we'll never see because they are so powerful. We're never going to see them. But yet they control everything. They are that 0.001% at the top, right? They are everything, right? And we are all beneath them. Sure, there are a lot of slave bosses at the top who fit into that, right? And there are a lot of us who are just slaves. A lot of us who are just never going to know anything but the dirt on our feet, the dirt at our feet. We're never going to know anything more than living hand to mouth, right? And trying to eke out a living. There are so many of us who are doing that. And we think that we're doing so good because we've got that 3-bedroom house and the 2-car garage and the kids and the kids going to the university, and we've got this great job and we got all these bills and cars and stuff. We think that we've got it made, and we don't realize that we are enslaved even more than those people out living in the dirt, grubbing around for, food every day, right? They're a slave to society's failures, all right? The people with the mortgages and stuff, they're just slaves to society. And slaves to their own desires and wants that are programmed into them by the media. Now in schools, literally, you're doing your homework, right? And you got to deal with commercials popping up telling you about this and that. It's fucking crazy, They teach all kinds of crazy stuff in schools because of the administrations who come along and want kids to be this way or that way. We want you to be okay with the changes in the world. And then the next administration comes along and says, we don't want you to be okay with those changes. We want you to live like this and be this kind of person. And then the next one comes back and does it again. And they just go back and forth so that kids are just, how many times can we do new math and new history and new this and that? I'm looking through my daughter's history books when she was in junior high, and I'm like, at first I was like, why is everything in a religious context? And then it dawned on me that all of history is pretty much been written through religious text, most of it early. So in order to understand certain cultures and certain places and certain countries in history, you have to follow their religions back, right? And so it's just the way it is. So if you're going to study the Middle East, you're going to study about Allah, and you're going to study about these different religions. And I was looking at my daughters, well, why are you learning this prayer, and why are you learning this? And it's, well, because that's history. And I'm like, and back when it was American history and world history, and you learned it from the American point of view, right? It's like, okay, this is what we want you to learn about this country and this part of history. And so now you pretty much, you get engulfed in history through the religion and through the historical texts and whatever they can dig up. And I actually had to go talk to my daughter's vice principal, assistant dean, to ask at high school, to ask or junior high, to ask, what the heck is this all about? Why are the kids learning this? And so he sat and he said, I get this a lot, but he explained it all to me, and he took the book and we laid it out, and I was like, yeah, I totally get it. I totally understand why it's done this way, and which turns out great for me, because I want my daughter to know more than one religion. She was raised, as a child, she was raised Catholic and confirmed and all that, baptized and whatnot. So, but I want her to know more than just that. I want her to know a little bit about every religion, so that she can say, you know what, this one interests me, or none of them do, whatever, or all of them do. Religions, organized religions, for me, they're just amusing. All right, that's it. For me, religion is a personal thing. It's a private thing. I think prayer should take place in the home. I think if religion took place in the home rather than outside the home, I think it would make the home a stronger place. I think if you raised your kids with your beliefs in your home, your way, it would be better for the family unit, the nuclear family, right? Or nuclear, whatever. So, I don't know. But that's just me. Early on, my daughter went to church with my wife and was raised Catholic. And then there became a point where it was okay, now it's your decision. And we're not an overly, my wife is Catholic, she's not overly religious, she doesn't go off to church every Sunday, and I think it just has to deal with what you have in your heart, and I think that should be enough. That should be enough. That should be enough religion for the average person. And I think organized religious venues should be more held for communal, not just gatherings, but communal sharing, right? We should get together in a place, if you want to call it a church or a meeting hall or a community center. People should get together once a week as a community in small groups, and then maybe delegates from those small groups to get together in bigger groups, and so on and so forth up the chain. But I think if we did more of that, there wouldn't be people in our hometown who are homeless or hungry. I think if we rallied together to help each individual, as each individual and group of people, families and stuff need help, we'd all be a lot better off. And I think getting together at the community level would be it would be it would be weird. It would be a throwback to like the Little House on the Prairie days, right? But we have a small neighborhood here, all right? From the park, beyond that is countryside, right? And behind us we have some hills, and then countryside and suburbia, right? Not suburbia, but like countryside with houses spread out everywhere. But our side of the highway here in Joshua Tree is a half a dozen streets one way and a half a dozen streets the other way, and blocks in between with homes and neighborhoods, and it's just one big neighborhood, right? And the other side of the highway could be divided into two smaller neighborhoods, right? So if we were to look at that and we were to go door to door and get everybody together to come to an event in that neighborhood to plan something and then make that plan happen, even if it were just a rummage sale, or a rummage sale / barbecue / kids day at the park. Okay, so let's say we plan something like that. As a community, as a neighborhood, we plan something like that. A delegate from every household, or one or more, from every household in the neighborhood shows up at this event. Right? We're given literature. We understand what the event is. The event is held to introduce this neighborhood into the idea of communal cooperation, because that's what a community is. So we get together, and the first thing that we're going to plan and make happen is a rummage sale / barbecue / kids day at the park. So we're going to get some bouncy castles, we're going to make some games, we're going to have like a carnival type thing, right? We'll get somebody in the neighborhood is going to have access to some kind of food truck, so we'll get a food truck there. Everybody in the neighborhood can have something they can give, even if it's just their time, right? So everybody gets involved, and we create this event, all right? Everybody brings something to the rummage sale that can be sold and put into a fund to fund the next event. We start off by doing events, right? And then we've got this surplus of cash in the community fund, and we elect one person to be in charge of knowing what's in the account. We have an accountant or a secretary who deals with budget. We have somebody who isn't in charge of much but gathering and pooling data. So that would also be some kind of secretary. We should all consider ourselves leaders, and as a community, we don't want to have no kings, right? We don't want to have any heads. We want to have a group of people making decisions. So if you come to the meeting, then you're a decision maker, and you're making a decision for your household. You can make a decision for your household through proxy using another household's delegate, right? I mean, we can do it because we're experienced in government, local government. We can do this stuff the right way. And wouldn't it be great to be able to have a surplus of cash set aside for emergencies? Maybe the emergency is something in our town needs to be fixed. So, we have a problem that needs to be dealt with, and we have the resources to deal with. A family in the neighborhood loses everything, and now they need help, right? Greater than the Red Cross will give, right? So on a community level, it's perfect, right? And then that right there, we say, hey, look, this is working in our neighborhood right here. Let's get this neighborhood started on doing this, and that neighborhood. Now we've got the 3 major neighborhoods in our downtown area involved. Now we get outlying areas to get together, spread out areas to get together as groups in the little areas around, right? And then as a town, we have all of these outlying areas, and our 3 neighborhoods sending 1 or 2 delegates to a giant town meeting. Now we get involved at the town level. So now we go to town hall meetings, and we get involved there as an organized community, right? And now we take that to the county level, and we go to the county meetings as organized townships and cities. That's the way it should be, and it lost somewhere along the way. It just got completely wiped away. You go to town hall meetings now, and it's a half a dozen or more people sitting around bitching and griping that there's nobody there and nobody cares, right? What are you going to do? I'm going to heat up my coffee, and then we're gonna read through the TV guide. Cause it's a trash man. Yeah, it's a trash man. It's a trash man. It's a trash man. It's not a trash person. It's a trash man. Because I've seen him. It's a trash man. There you go. Yeah. Muchacho de la Basura. So there you go. So let's go through the TV guide real quick here and see what's going on prime time on Tuesday, June 15th, 1976. Star Trek, of course, it's 6 in its syndication years. Hogan's Heroes. So let's see. At 7, we've got Ironside, To Tell the Truth. KQED Auction continues. Bonanza, the Cartwrights become suspicious of the deputy marshal assigned to escort an important prosecution witness to California. And then later, at 7 on another channel, the Cartwrights shield an army captain from Cochise's Vengeful Warriors with DeForest Kelley from Star Trek. So there you go. Mike Douglas has Fred Astaire and Gene Kelly. At 7:30, there's Bewitched and Hollywood Squares with Ed Asner, Tony Randall, Elizabeth Montgomery, Jonathan Winters, Susan Clark, Harvey Korman. Ooh. Bobby Vinton, Variety. Let's see. More auction continuing. 8 o'clock. Happy Days. Howard Cunningham's 45th birthday. Wow. Moving on. Oh, that's a great show, Moving On. It's done during the writer strike, I believe. It came about during the writer strike. And it's Claude Akins and Frank Converse as a couple of truckers. You can find this on Roku. Moving On. And they're just a couple of truckers, and it's only like a couple of seasons. They share a truck. Claude Akins' character owns the truck, and Frank Converse is a guy who wants to be a trucker. He's got some experience, but they share the truck and the route. And they just drive around the country, and it's a real show where they really drive around the country. They film it on the highways. They film it in these small towns around California and the nation, and it's just a really great people show. A lot of great guest stars, a lot of great stories, which is funny that it came along. The creators of these shows would just create these shows, and then they would just write the episodes themselves because we got no writers. Moving On. Check it out. Great show. Days of Wine and Roses. Jack Lemmon, Lee Remick. Not My Speed. I've Got a Secret Game. Return. I don't want to watch a game. Now, Powder Puff Away Unwanted Facial and Body Hair. What does that mean? Powder Puff? What is it, lye? It's lime powder, and you just put it on, it just dissolves your hair. I don't know what it is, but I'm not going to involve a lot of time trying to figure it out. I'll tell you that. At 8:30, Laverne and Shirley. Bedridden with a bad cold, Laverne is nevertheless determined to beat a snooty brewery tour guide in a bowling tournament. Oh, I remember that one. She's sick and she tries to bowl. I love that show, Laverne and Shirley. Good times. Also at 8:30. Which they had to move it there because they were beaten out by Happy Days. Finally. Let's see, SWAT at 9. Also Policewoman and MASH. Well, there are 3 militant police shows, right? 2 dramas and 1 comedy. A dramedy, really. And then One Day at a Time at 9:30. Rookies at 10, as well as City of Angels and Switch. Love American Style. Dick Van Dyke at 10:30. The auction continues on QED, Channel 9. And The Best of Groucho at 11. Johnny Carson with Wayne Newton, Charlton Heston, and Kelly Monteith. Wow. Roman Polanski's slapstick parody, The Fearless Vampire Killers. Wow. I never knew about that one. Oh, and then we're Mary Hartman. Mary Hartman, my mother's nighttime soap opera. Oh, that show. I was like, please let it be over so I could watch something other than Mary Hartman, Mary Hartman. And I would stay up late. As soon as everyone was asleep, I'd be back in there turning the TV on, warming it up so I could watch anything. Anything late night. And at this time, it's looks like at 11:30, it's Mystery of the Week. Night is the time for killing. And that is looks like a made-for-TV movie. Johnny Carson. Yeah, Fearless Vampire Killer. So if I was awake and my mother wasn't watching Mary Hartman, I would probably be watching one of these old scary movies, right? And that takes us into tomorrow morning. Speaking of tomorrow morning, we will be talking about old-time radio, Little Orphan Annie, which was my father's favorite show when he was a little kid. When he was a little kid, he was listening to Little Orphan Annie, Lone Ranger, that kind of stuff. So we're going to listen to an episode of that, which is only about 15 minutes long. And we'll talk about that. And then we'll just more blah, 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 blah. We'll have another album of the day. And the 4 o'clock movie today is Anatomy of a Teenage Courtship. So we're going to see what teenagers were thinking back in the late 70s about hooking up and getting engaged and stuff early. When you're in high school, that's a time for dating. It's not a time for steady relationships. It's a time for dating. All right. Ooh, I like this person. We're going to go out. Ooh, I like this person. That's the way it should be. It shouldn't be, I like this person. I'm going to stay with this person forever, and I'm never going to leave this person's side. Yeah, but you're only 15 years. I don't care. And then at 25, they hate each other and they're divorced because they don't know anybody else, and they find somebody else finally. They find their soulmate, right? Ugh, there's no such a thing. What it is it's somebody that you can tolerate, who can tolerate you. That's a soulmate right there. It's just, all the bullshit aside, that's what it is. They fart and you don't run out of the room and then want a divorce. You can just tolerate each other. You can stand each other's bullshit. And it's okay. You still love the person no matter what. It's just the way they are. And if you can do that for 25 years, there you go. So, Anatomy of a Teenage Courtship. Yeah, I mean, I don't think people should think about marriage until they're in their 20s or even possibly in their 30s, right? Because there's so much time to do so much more. Even if you have a significant other, right? You really should refrain from doing, that whole, let's just settle down. I mean, very rarely does it happen in work, right? I know a handful of people who got married young and are still together. A handful. Out of all the people that got together when they were young. There's a handful of people who are still together. Yeah. So I'm glad my daughter really never got into hardcore dating when she was young. And she's still not hardcore into dating. She's just, I see her like me now. She's just going through life trying to get shit done and to have fun doing it, right? And it seems like there's just no time to settle down with one person and give yourself over to that person. You would literally, at this point in her life, they would literally have to be neighbors or living together for something like that to even possibly work, right? Just because she's got such a hectic schedule, not so much now, but when it's school time, she's busy as hell. So she barely has time for herself, let alone us. We barely see her during the school year. She's getting it done, though. She's getting it done, and that's important, So, let's see. We got about 10 minutes left. Later in the week, Thursday is Grateful Dead Day. We're just going to talk Grateful Dead stuff. And I've got a few stories and a whole bunch of Grateful Dead stuff in my box that we're going to pull out and go through and look at. Some music, some fun, some games, all kinds of cool stuff. So we're going to do that. On Friday, we're going to pretty much do what we've been doing all week, reflecting on the past versus the present. What's going on today versus how we would have handled it in the past. So tomorrow, the next day, we're just going to have more of the same, basically, because that's kind of where my head is at right now. I need to get all this shit out so that I can get through the rest of my day and not be bogged down by all of this torment. So we're going to do more of that. I appreciate you hanging out and letting me vent. Because it's the world and its condition right now is really weighing on me night and day. And I don't know what to do anymore. All I can do is vent my rage here, hope somebody listens to me and spreads the word to be kind, spread peace and love, not bullshit, don't make war, love each other, do something for yourself, and do something for somebody else too. How many times can I say it? I'll say it every day. But we need to learn to get along, And if doing that is being weird, then be as weird as you can fucking be, Give a shit. Just start giving a shit. If you can't give a shit about yourself, then stop looking at yourself, put down your phone, and give a shit about somebody else. Move on from the narcissism. Because we're all narcissists to some extent, but it seems like it's taken over. We have a me society. And we need to look at the person next to us, the people around us, and care. And not just, I don't know them, they're not my clique, they're not my peoples. Fuck them, I don't care. We need to move past that, alright? Yeah, I was there, I felt the same fucking way for a while. We need to start giving a shit. Little moment of silence there for a fucked up society right now. You're being led around by your phones to be this way right now. Either side, either way, you're wrong. Either side is wrong right now. You're going about it the wrong way. No matter what your side you're on, you're going about it the wrong way. You need to step back, take a look at things, grab people by the shoulder, tap them and say, come on, we need to get out of here. This needs to stop. Everybody needs to tap the person next to them and say enough's enough. All right? What happened to those protests we used to have where they were standing in their military gear and somebody was holding a flower, you know? I want to see more of the local law enforcement taking a knee, protecting us from them. Okay? You know who they are. They're the ones trying to round us up in the streets because of our skin color. It's got to change, you know. How many people who are protesting have taken the time to make a phone call, to send a fax, to send an email to their governor, to their senator, to their mayor, to the chief of police, right? Nobody. I'll bet you fucking dollars to donuts. You got a handful of people who are going, right? Come on. Come on. It needs to be organized. If we were organized on the neighborhood level, and the town level, and the city level, and the county level, then things like this would not fucking happen, because we would just vote it down. We would just say, no, let's not let this happen in our city, in our state. No. Federal government, no. You give us the names, and we will go and we will talk to these people and find out what's going on, and we will make the decision whether or not to fucking turn them over to you. If they're not within 100 miles of the border to another country, you have no jurisdiction. Get out. You stay 100 miles from the border. Deal with that area. Anything else, you let us know locally, and we'll handle it. No, we've given up power. The last 25 years, we've seen all of our power and rights and constitutional shit just go down the tubes. And this was inevitable. I've been screaming about this for decades now. This was inevitable, that we were going to have martial law and curfews and riots in the street and full riot, not riot gear, but war gear. They are dressed the same way marching through our streets that they would be fighting in Fallujah. Do you not see that? Do you not see what's going on here? They've got us so fucked up that we're allowing this to happen, right? Our lawmakers, our politicians are allowing this to fucking happen because they have been fucking brainwashed and whitewashed. And that's what they're trying to do to this country. They're trying to whitewash it. The current administration is trying to whitewash this country so it better suits their agenda for the next administration they're trying to set up. It just keeps happening and happening and happening, and we just keep letting it happen and happen and happen, right? When did Americans lose their balls, right? Americans used to have so much cojones, and they got nothing now. We're nutless. We've been neutered. The citizens of this country have been neutered. We got nothing. We're so afraid of a handful of government organizations that we got no balls anymore. The few people with balls out there have no brains, unfortunately. So they're making things worse. Wow. What are you going to do? Not much, I guess. Because we can't anymore. We got nothing. We got nothing anymore. All I can do is try to worry about my little world and my little family and my little neighborhood, my little tiny community here, and just stick to that. Because I try to get involved outside of that, and I'm dealing with assholes and idiots and people who are so fucking programmed they couldn't tell their asshole from a fucking hole in the goddamn sky. There you go. If I could change one thing in this world, it would be to make everybody intelligent, smart enough to know what the fuck's going on, right? Past all the propaganda and bullshit they've been fed their whole fucking lives, intelligence enough to rise above that, and that is going to cure so much. Stupidity is like the feeding ground for all the bullshit that's going on in the world. You know, from hate to the healthcare industry, right? Everything, all the way down the line. If people were intelligent enough to see right from wrong, not how they've been programmed to see it, but actually see right from wrong, this world, everything would just be so different. So different. I guess it's just about that time for me to wrap it up. I appreciate you guys stopping by and letting me go. Leave a comment. Say hi. Whatever. Tell me I'm crazy. Like, I need you to tell me that. Yeah. If wanting the world to be smart and at peace is weird, then yeah, I'm the weirdest guy in the world. I don't know why people just have to hate each other for no other reason than the color of their skin. Mine's a better color. Yeah, I come from a better place. No. No. That's not the way it is. Alright, people. I gotta get going. Let me boot this up here and tell you all take care of each other, people. Please. That's all you gotta do. Take care of each other. Spread peace and love, not bullshit, right? Do something for yourself. But, you know, not only that, do something for somebody else too. Because that's even better. It makes you feel good, makes somebody else feel good, makes the world a better place, kind of puts out this aura of awesomeness. Love you. Yeah, do that. But, you know, if you do it willingly, you know, with peace in your heart and not hate, it's a great thing. Don't expect anything in return. Just do it. Right? Most especially, stay weird out there, okay? Because if you ain't weird, ain't nobody going to be weird for you. Being kind to one another for no other reason than to be kind. That's an awesome thing. Give it a shot. Alright, people. Take care of each other. Love ya. See you in the morning. Adios.